So I think yesterday we started with Jenkins and we have set it up on our system. And now today we will see more things on Jenkins.
Sir, yesterday you were talking about the Jenkins, uh, what you say,
Mm.
plugins and
Plugins.
tools. So,
Yes.
what is the difference between plugins and tools?
So plugins, is the like a Play Store or App Store for Jenkins. While tools, okay, once we install the plugin, those plugins we can configure inside the tools.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. So let me start Jenkins server. Okay. So server is now running. Let's log into it. Meanwhile, guys, have you all tried to install Jenkins? Okay. So we are into our job now. Sorry, we are into our Jenkins dashboard now. Let's quickly visit a few more setting option under Manage Jenkins, and then we will come to creating some freestyle jobs and all. Not sure. Okay. Okay. So the plugins, tools, and these nodes and clouds, I think we have already covered yesterday. Okay. So under system, you can define some system level configurations. Okay. Uh, let's let it open. Not sure why it's working very slow today. Okay. So under system configuration, you can define the configuration for the Jenkins system. Like first of all, if you want to put a message on top of Jenkins that we can specify here. Let's say, like we want a scheduled maintenance for Jenkins. So we can put any message here that we want to display on the front page of Jenkins. For example, let's say we have a scheduled maintenance in next month or for so and so date. So that message we can show. Let me show an example. Scheduled. Okay. I will not type full. on 1st of June. Okay, and here you can define the number of executors. What does that mean? That parallelly how many jobs your Jenkins can run. So in here I have mentioned two. It means only two jobs can run parallelly. If you will try to run third job, it won't work. It will go into the queue. Okay. So here you can increase or decrease the number of parallel executors. Okay. Label. If we have configured more and more Jenkins agents, and let's say there are 2, 3 agents we have configured, node 1, node 2, and node 3, and we want to use a particular agent as much as possible. So we can specify that agent's label here, and we can select the action. Only build the job with the expression matching this node. So this option will only build the job when if someone has specified that label in the job. If we use this option, then Jenkins will try to schedule maximum jobs on the node which this label belongs to. Okay. Quiet
Sir,
period.
where will the system configurations be configured within the server?
Yes. If you go to manage Jenkins, there is the option system configuration where you can find all this configuration.
Okay, so whatever we are doing here will reflect in the system in our server, AWS
Yes.
instance.
No,
Okay.
not on AWS service. Only this for this Jenkins only.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, guys, I'm just explaining you as a like most of the times you won't having access to this system level configuration because these will be managed by Jenkins admin team. Okay. Here you can find your Jenkins URL. Okay. And if there is any a contact address for your system admin for this Jenkins, then that email address will be showing here. Resource root URL. Okay. Whatever option you want to explore more, there are question mark icon given. Just click on that and it will give you more details on that. Okay. It's like, here you can provide a URL. So like if Jenkins find a untrusted file, then Jenkins may communicate with this URL. For example, if in our repository, we are building some application, we find some vulnerability. So with this URL, we can, we can post those files on that server. Okay, so it will act as a proxy, okay, to provide a secure connection, that Jenkins may utilize. Anyway, we don't need to worry about it because these will be pre-configured by the admin team because they know much about the security and uh, the other compliances. Okay, so it has lots of other options. I think all these are not required. Yeah, few more I will point it out. So for example, if you have your own GitHub Enterprise edition, then from here you can connect your GitHub Enterprise server. Okay, where you have to just provide your server URL and you just have to provide a name. Let's say if you have multiple GitHub Enterprise server, GitHub prod and GitHub test, and so you can add more and more enterprise servers here. So guys, I hope you know the difference between normal GitHub and enterprise GitHub. Normal GitHub is it's like github.com, the domain name. If let's say I'm working for a specific organization, let's say ABC, then that company can provision their own enterprise edition like abc.github.com. So that will be their dedicated GitHub server. Okay. So here this Git configuration. Let's say if you want to push some changes to the repository through the automation, then we can provide here username and the username user.email values. Okay, here, see if we run any command in our job, let's say mkdi or mkdir or cd or whatever. So which shell those commands should be executed, that we can specify here. If we don't specify, Jenkins will pick the appropriate shell environment. Okay, as you all will be knowing that there are a couple of shells available in Linux, like bash and ksh, then zsh, correct? So if you want to run your job, if you want to run your command on a particular shell, then that shell name we can provide here. Let's say if I want to run all of my commands in ZSH environment, then I can specify here. If we don't specify, Jenkins will automatically pick up the most suitable shell. Yeah. Okay. Lastly, this email part. If you want to enable the notifications through email, like whenever the Jenkins job is completed, it should notify to the respected team via email. Then we can configure here our SMTP server. What is an SMTP server? It's a simple mail transfer protocol. So all those emails, we get and we send emails. All those emails are processed through a server known as SMTP server. Okay, so here we can specify our server address and the credentials. We'll talk about credential later. And yeah, basically all these configuration values you will get from the respective team. Okay, whoever they will provide you the server name, SMTP port, username and password, or all these things. Okay, here you can specify the default recipients, like whatever mails Jenkins is sending, it should go to at least this recipient. Okay, emergency route. So let's say we are trying to send email to xyz@tbc.com, and if that is not if that email doesn't work, then as part of emergency, whatever email we provide here, Jenkins will send email on that mailing address. Here you can allow which kind of domain you want to allow for mail. Let's say if someone tries to send email from at the rate xyz.com, and we don't own that, or we don't want to send email from that domain, so we can specify the all allowing domain. If see sometimes organizations have multiple subdomains, so it may help in that. Okay, here you can specify default subject name, like project name. Project name is basically your job name. Okay, then build number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, or build status means success, failure, or whatever. So it in this format it will create a mailing subject. Okay, and this is the default content. Project name, your Jenkins job name, build ID, and build status. Check console output at build URL. So here it will add a URL, and as soon as we click on the URL from our mailbox, it will redirect us to the Jenkins job. Okay. Any question here, guys, so far? So these configuration, you don't, most of the times you will not be able to work along with these options, because as I mentioned that this setting option will not be available for most of the Jenkins users. Guys, are you good? Okay, we'll take it as a no.
Yeah, Dinesh.
But
Yeah, this is the one-time activities, right?
all these are one-time activities, yes. Okay. Now, let's talk about this appearance is a small option. Like here you can change your Jenkins theme and look and feel. Basically the UI changes. Okay. Let's say if you want, you can use a dark theme. Okay, this is a default theme. So basically, you can change the theme. If you want more themes, you can get it from the plugins. Anyway, that is not a big deal. Like usually you don't change the theme and all. Okay. Next option, let's talk about this credential. This is an important part, guys. So as we discussed, this under this plugin that we can install uh we can install the plugins to integrate with different DevOps tools or third-party services. For example, if you want to connect with Kubernetes, or if you want to connect with Docker, or if you want to connect with SonarQube, then uh, see, we directly by simply installing plugin doesn't mean that we can connect with them. We will be needing some credentials as well. For example, if I want to connect with your GitHub repository, I may be needing your credentials, like your username and your password. Right? Similarly, if I want to connect with your AWS account, I will be needing that credentials. If I need to connect with your Kubernetes cluster or your web server, whatever, all those things have their credentials. Without credential, we cannot log in there. Correct? So same thing happens with Jenkins. By installing plugins doesn't mean that we can connect to it. We also will be needing credentials. Right? So the credentials we can configure here. Now, Jenkins supports, creating the credentials. We can create the credential one time and we can use that credential multiple times. For example, we have 10 jobs and all those 10 jobs are utilizing a same GitHub repository. Then we have to just create a credential for that repository, and that credential can be used in all those 10 jobs. Okay, so let's go inside this. So now here we can add the credentials. Let's click on here. Okay. Now credentials are are different kinds, guys. Like as you know, the very common credential is username with password. But there are some other credentials as well. Let's say there is a SSH and SSH based credential. In this, we use key pair, right? Public key and private key. If sometimes we just have a token. For example, if you talk about GitHub, then the GitHub token, right? So that there is no username or password. Instead, there is simply a text that is secret text. So based on, you can select the type of the credential. Okay, by these are six are the default one. If we install more tools, you will be able to find more kind of credentials here. Okay. For example, AWS credential, AWS need access key and secret key to access within the AWS. So if you install AWS plugin, then we will find AWS, the credential for the AWS. Okay. So for now, let me create a dummy credential. So I selected credential type is username with password. I need to fill this here. To username, I will say admin. Now, this ID is an important part. We need to provide a unique ID for your credential. Okay. For example, if we are creating the credential for our GitHub account, we can say GitHub credential. If we are creating the credential for our production GitHub account, we can say prod GitHub credential. Like whatever ID we will provide, by seeing that ID, we should be able to remember, okay, this credential belongs to this server or this application or this viewer or this environment. Okay, so I will just say dummy credential. So in the description, you need to provide, okay, what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this credential? Created for learning. Okay, let's create this credential. Okay, you see, the credential has been created, and by default, Jenkins will encrypt your sensitive information like password and all. Okay, so this credential has been created, admin, and the password is masked. Okay, this is the ID, and this is the type of the credential, and this is the description. Now, how to use this credential? Let's go to the dashboard. For example, in this job, I want to use that credential. So we'll go inside it.
Sir, when you are doing the hello world, you wrote an executable shell script. So
Yeah.
where will this shell script run actually?
Okay. Currently, it will run on this server.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you are building pipeline, also the pipeline would be executed on the server itself.
Exactly. Okay. So let's say I want to connect my GitHub repository, and for that I have already selected the credential. So here I can provide my repo URL, and you see under this credential, I'm getting this option to get my credential. I can select this credential. So if this repository require credential to connect, then from here we can select the credential. And all the credential we have created under manage Jenkins credential will show up here. Any question, guys? Yeah. Any question, guys, so far?
No,
Okay. Let's go. Why this okay. Not sure why no why this Jenkins works very slow today. After the class will be started. Okay. So now under the security, okay, there is another good thing, this security. So here we can make our Jenkins secure, and also we can define who can access and who can do what in our Jenkins. Basically, allowing or restricting access at the Jenkins level, not at the user level. Okay. So first of all, disable keep me signed in. So if you open our Jenkins server very first time, it shows, enter username and password, and there is a checkbox, keep me signed in. So if you don't want to show that checkbox, from here we can disable it. So when we select, keep me signed in, Jenkins creates a cookie and session that allows us to be login for the longer time. Under security realm, we can select, Jenkins, from where all of the users are. So by default, it is selected to Jenkins own database. It means that we need to create and manage all of our users in within this Jenkins. But if we already have a LDAP server, what's the LDAP server? Okay, that is a server where all of your employee or all of the users details are stored. So if you already have that kind of database, then you can connect your LDAP server here. So all of the servers who are available in the LDAP will be able to get access to this Jenkins. Okay, so here we can provide our LDAP server URL. Next, if you are using, if you are using this server's username, let's say in this Linux server, I have created multiple users and I want to use them as a Jenkins user, then I can use Unix user and group database. So here, whatever service is running all those users, we can provide here. Okay, authorization, logged in users can do anything. It means if someone want to do in Jenkins, then he should at least be logged in. Without login, he won't be able to see or do anything in the Jenkins server. If we can select, anyone can do anything, it basically means whoever has access to our Jenkins, he can do anything in our Jenkins. Like he can create or delete the job or, anything, whatever. Okay, we select anyone can do anything. It basically means that anyone who has access to the Jenkins server can do anything. Like he can create the job, create the job, run the job without even logging. Next, we can say metrics-based security. So here we can define what anonymous users can do and what authenticated users can do. Okay, we can select the checkboxes for their view. Like if replay or delete build. See, if I select this option for anonymous, it means even if the user is not logged in, he still can build our jobs because we are giving build access to anonymous user group. I hope you can get it, guys. Okay. Next, project-based metric authorization. Here, what users can do on your projects, we can see, and also here we can add users or we can create a new group. By default, there are two groups, anonymous and authenticated users. If you want to create a new group for, let's say, we have lots of teams, dev team, test team, or QA team. So we can create their group, and at the group level, we can assign the permissions. Any question here, guys, so far?
Okay.
Okay. Lastly, the CSRF protection. So this is basically a security mechanism to prevent your Jenkins for any kind of vulnerability. So here you can see default CSRF from issuer, default from issuer. If you have any other proxy where you are using your CSRF certificates, then we can enable this proxy compatibility. Some HTTP proxies filter out information that the default column issuer used to calculate the nonce value. Okay, I'm not going to save anything here, guys, because if I save, it may, sometimes it happens that, if you any misconfigure anything in this section, then you may lose your access to Jenkins, so, it can keep on crashing or anything. So this option also, you don't need to worry about it. But as part of, this training, at least you should have some basic idea on this. So too many Jenkins. Okay, so credential we have covered, security, yes, users. From here, we can manage our users. Like we can create the users or we can modify the existing user. You can delete the users, change the password, anything. Okay. So by default, we have this admin user. I think we already created this. If you want to create a new user, I can create from here. Just click on create user. you have any questions so far? Hello guys, am I audible?
Yes, Dinesh, no worries.
Okay. So we can manage the users from here, and once the user is created, we can manage their access everything from here. Okay, anyway, guys, it's just a admin part. You don't need to worry about it to how to create users and managing the access and all, because that will not come under our responsibility. But as part of DevOps, at least you may have that information. So next section is the status information. As the name suggests,
No,
here is
so we
good.
don't need to do this users credentials. So that will be from the administrator.
Credential we will need to know. Sometimes we need to create the credential. Okay, but that credential also you will get from your uh maybe your team and everything. Let's say if you want to connect with the database, they will provide you the database username and password. So we just need to create a credential here by providing those details.
Okay, understood.
Okay. Now next option is status information. Here, as the name suggests, you can get some static information. Okay, so let's see if you want to get some detail about your about Jenkins, you can just click here. Under this about Jenkins, you can find out all of the sub software or some other things that are that have been used to create this Jenkins. So all these dependencies have been used. Okay, we can see here the version. Okay, if you want to contribute to the Jenkins, you can click here and we can involve here. Here we can see the static resources. This is the theme that is used, and all these icons and all we see, all these icons are coming from this Ionicons library. We're just giving a tribute here, and all these are the plugins. Those are currently installed in our Jenkins server. Okay, so just static information you can get from here. Okay, so and here you can find your system related information. Okay, like environment variables. Let me show. Okay, so here basically you can find some properties and their values. These will help you by debugging something. For example, if you want to know which Java class version we are using, so we can see here. Okay, let's say our Java runtime version. We can see here Java specification name, Java vendor. Okay, there are lots of information we can get. Our OS name is Linux OS version. This OS architecture. All this information we can retrieve from here. Why it will useful? It will give help us while debugging. For example, if something is not working in the Jenkins and or let's say any plugin is not working or some application is not working, then if you want to raise the ticket or if you want to someone help, then these information will be required. They will ask you, okay, what is the Java class version or what is the Java runtime version that you are using in the Jenkins or like that. Here we can see the environment variables. So Jenkins by default has some environment variable that we can use. Okay, we'll explain them in the later on. Here you can get the list of all of the plugins those are installed in the Jenkins server. Here we can see the memory utilization of Jenkins, like over the time, how much memory this Jenkins is consuming. As of now, this green one shows the total memory, the red one will show the fluctuation over the time. So as of now, we are not running any job or anything. That's why it's showing a steady round. Okay. From here, we can see all of the logs. So in Jenkins, whatever we do, whether we are running the job or we are creating the credential, we are installing the plugins, all those activities are storing in the form of logs. This log will also help you. For example, let's say if somebody remove the job or somebody remove the plugins, then how you will get to know? This logs will help you in that time. See, with timestamp, it is showing what all the things happened in this Jenkins. So at this, okay, it's from here. So when we restart the server, all these activities have happened. See, it loaded the Jenkins home directory. It has started the Jenkins package. Okay, it has started the server connector, and this listed all plugins. Like when we click on the plugins, it just lists all of the plugins. Okay, labeled all jobs and Jenkins fully up and running. So these are the activities. It is showing that what all the things happened when we started the Jenkins server. Okay, this is the default logs. If you want, you can also create our own call log recorder. Yeah, from here you can create a new log recorder. Okay, just provide a name. Let's say if you want to create log creator for your prod jobs or for anything, just give it a name and just create it. Yes, yes. Any questions so far? So this is just this mostly the theory session where we covered all of the options available in the manage Jenkins. Now from tomorrow, we can start with, creating the jobs, and connecting with GitHub, building the application and all. Let me know if you have, okay, few more things are left. Okay, very quickly I will go over them. If you want to safely, prepare your Jenkins for shutdown, you can go to this option, and in this option, you can just, trigger a safe shutdown. Safe shutdown basically means it will wait for all of the ongoing jobs, and once Jenkins is fully free, then only it will restart. If you hard it, there is one more type of shutdown, hard shutdown. In this, you are just simply shutting down the Jenkins, whether jobs are running or not. While in the safe shutdown, we can provide a reason and then you can prepare for shutdown. It will wait until all of the jobs have been successfully completed. Okay, nextly, this Jenkins CLI. So if you don't want to access Jenkins from this UI, it also provides you a CLI, a command line interface. So you can also do all those things by using some commands. 99% we don't use this option, but it's good to know that okay, Jenkins CLI is also available. For that, you need to download a jar file, or sorry, a var file that it will show here. Okay, see, this is a jar file we need to download, and java minus jar hyphen s. This is this, and here we can specify the command what we want to do. If I want to add a new job, or if I want to, let's say, see the console output of a job, or if I want to create the job, just I can specify these commands here. Okay, this jar is a specialized jar file only for our Jenkins. We need to download this and we need to put this in the path, okay, like in a folder. And in the same folder, we can open our console or terminal, and then we can start running these commands. You can find the reference at the bottom. But 99% we don't use this, guys. Okay, but it's good to know that it's available. Yeah, guys. Do we have any more question for today? Or are we good?
Yeah, no question.
Okay, yeah, post probably it's a therapy session, guys. I just watch it for 1 or 2 times, and that's fine. Anyway, most of the options that I showed here, you will not be directly connected with. You just need to focus more on tools, plugins, and this credential. These are the main 3 things you need to focus on. Okay. All right, guys, then let's meet on the next week. Till then, happy weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.